Here we go, here we go. It's a brand new ROM hack that I've discovered that I'm pretty excited about. Super Mario Brothers Desert Land. Sounds good to me. It's I don't know if it's something that's been developed recently or updated recently, but it popped up in the ROMhacking.net. Oh, off he goes. The ROMhacking.net news page, so I decided to give it a look. Here goes nothing. See how we get on. It's groovy. It's definitely good. Oh, that's not the jump button. Okay. All right. There we go. Now we're cooking. Just even having a I gave this a practice run off screen, not live, and trust me, bro, it was nothing like this. But of course, of course, I would say that. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm using a bit of some sort of running around, holding the B button to run tactic. See, it's full of tricks and traps, which is it's a whole new realm. I can't be using my World 1-1 tactics. There we go. Now we're cooking. Right, out you come, back you go. No, I thought he would go back in. Oh my goodness, this is awful. Not the ROM hack, my skill ability, my skill issues. Well documented though they are. Right, here we go. Okay. If you can believe it, I like Super Mario Brothers a lot, and I'm relatively okay at it. But not today, apparently. Oh my god, I mean, why would I even do that? He's very visibly and apparently there. Deary me. Right, okay. Here we go. You come out, you go in. Given the little chance for the chip tune, I was hoping I'd find one. Got a mushroom. I love the chip tune. Look. Oof. There we go. In you go. Can I go down these? I'm not checking the pipes, am I? That's like Mario 101. Whoopa. Okay. There's a little tricksy, the level design. It doesn't use, obviously, because why would it? The same kind of design language that Nintendo's original would. So my sort of expectations, Dan, thank you for joining us, hello. My expectations are not correctly set, as you can probably tell by how atrociously I'm doing. World 1-2, here he goes. Ooh, I like that remix. I shouldn't have talked over it. Hopefully we'll see it again. Hey. What's this tune from? Oh, I recognise it. Is it technically a Zelda song? No, it's from one of the later ones, right? Nice. Ooh, and of course getting to the top. Boom. Oh man, I was... Fire! Hey, quite literally. Right, so... Tricky jumps are very much the order of the day in this particular ROM hack. Oh no, the red ones stay, didn't they? Come on. There we go. Now this is an interesting... I've never seen a mushroom... Actually, I've never seen mushrooms in an underground level, now I think about it. Okay. Good. The level design is very clever, very tricksy. I am enjoying it. Uh-oh, why would I come in it? Oh, that was close. Okay, what about this? This surely... Come on. I'm curious how the ROM hack will interpret this. Ooh! Okay. Oh, that's a leap of faith. It just deletes the top. Why didn't Nintendo think of that? Just delete the top, you can't have a warp zone. There's actually a castle down here. Very clever. Fireworks! Very nice. Oh, and we're straight into it. I was waiting for him to emerge from the pipe, but of course he wouldn't, because we're not doing that. Now, what's going on here? Oh, crumbs. Ah, yes, this is another feature of the ROM hack. It does the downgrade Super Mario Bros. 3 style. So if you have the flower, which I now have again, and you get hit, you don't revert to Tiny Mario. You revert to... I think they call him Super Mario when he's big, actually. It was very odd in the movie, wasn't it? Where they just like, yeah, he eats this and he does actually double in size. It's just that seeing that in like that CGI, it was cool, but it was very strange. Dan is quite rightly calling us out for stomping mad turts all day. Oh! It's not very often. Dan's seen me do what he called the late night nuki, which is if I'm streaming secretly late at night, which I don't really do anymore. I might get back into it at some point. I speak very softly, very dulcet tones because I'm trying not to wake up the rest of the house. He's obviously seeing me streaming Discworld and this kind of thing. And today he's seeing me stream Super Mario, which means I'm constantly streaming my voice. Because it's quite stressful. Right, okay. How are we looking? Ooh, it is groovy music. I'm all about this music. I'm not quite about this. Oh, did you see that? There was a little frame rate drop and it distracted me from my own jump. I know a bad workman blames his tools, but my goodness. Okay, here we go. Okay, not thrilled about this. However, there we go. It's just about having that extra hit. Good. Nope. Money, yes. Fire, no. I've been telling you this for years. No! Heavens help us. Okay. Yes. There we go. Now, something... Why would I do that? That's incredibly stupid. Something I do not have in common with one of our favourite streamers is a disregard for NES... Oh! I forgot you can leap through that. Skiffy is quite rightly calling out my shame. What is Mario and Luigi mode? Does that mean 2-player? Let's give it a go. We are here to... What I do basically, something I've introduced because I'm always tinkering with stuff, is the first half hour of given stream, as Dan ruminates on how few sinks Mario actually fixes. He did again in the movie, didn't he? Or was it a shower? But yeah, at the start of each stream each week, I do all my nonsense experiments, whatever I've noticed this week. So that's why I've kind of given it the category on the schedule just of retro, because it's usually going to be a ROM hack, or it's going to be an old weird game I've found. We do that for the first half hour, 45 minutes absolute most, and then we go on to kind of the main game, which at the moment is Discworld Noir, which we're going to be clearing the trilogy, I think. We spent the first quarter of this year playing all the Discworlds back to back. I didn't really plan for that to happen, but it's sort of how it's worked out. They're all very different from one another. Oh, I'm loving spaffing out. I've been told not to use that word, spaffing, but spaffing out all the fireballs. Whoa, there we go. Okay, good. Yes, no, yes. Perfect. So yeah, don't worry, if you're waiting for Luton is coming. What I had... I'm getting told off for my language. What I was considering last week on Discworld Noir, it was very slow paced. I was very worried that the game was turning into walk over here and flip through your notebook at people. But then I sort of remembered we've got whole mechanics from Discworld Noir that I haven't actually unlocked yet and things like that. So we are sort of in, I guess, kind of the workhorse arc of that particular game on the stream at the minute. I'm hoping today we're going to clear that and actually start getting to the proper juicy plot twists. But it's very much the sort... Ooh, that was close. Very much the sort of intel phase. Skiffy's asking if Lola forbade me to say spaffing. No, it's usually just anyone else who hears me say that. I don't know if it's my accent, the way I say spaffing or things like that, but people don't like me using that word. I don't know if it has the same sort of visceral effect that some people have hearing the word moist. Oh, there we go. It is satisfying, the ROM hack. It's another thing. I had this recently on... Oh, look at this. On a another ROM hack I tried where Sonic the Hedgehog, someone had very cleverly done it so he has an after image, oh my god, of himself. An after image of Sonic that follows himself and haunts himself through the level. So if he touches it, he dies. And it completely changed the way you play Sonic. And I was awful at it until I was doing the outro of that particular recording session. And then because I was focusing on what I was saying rather than the game, somehow I entered a flow state and actually finished the level, and I'd literally written off and said, okay, well, this was a fun first impressions. We were looking at the Sonic game. I kind of ruined that video now. That's basically what happens. That's 30 minutes of your life you don't have to worry about now. But that's essentially how it went. Oh! And I'm finding, as I get used to this variant, ROM hack, It's kind of going similarly. If I'm not... Well, I mean, I'm just wafting over everything now. Whoop! Hey, 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 hey. Whoop! Oh, dear. Little lag spikes there. My computer just hates working for me. I have got my eye on some upgrades, but it's about financially getting there. But, yeah, I don't think... But then again, thinking about it, sort of thinking as I speak as usual, I quite like having hardware limitations in a way, simply because it does force me to not get caught in any sort of zeitgeist or hype. I have to stream old stuff because I can only run old stuff. This hack, Skiffy is asking, it is essentially just a remix. It's a complete reinterpretation and a shorter version of Super Mario Brothers called Super Mario Brothers Desert Land. I think it came out relatively recently. Oh yeah, Skiffy's actually advising, don't actually bother upgrading anything right now because we're priced out. I've also found out what this does. This is Luigi. I'm only using one controller. I can't move him. He's just stuck here. So I could let it time out, but I think what I'm actually going to do is, on my legitimate hardware, simply, oops, restart like so. And we'll go into Mario mode. We'll give it a little bit more of a run through. So I don't know why the ROM... Oh my god in heaven. I don't know why the ROM hack necessarily takes place in the desert, but it is quite fun. I like the music, how it's kind of been remixed. I like the Trixie level design. Hey, hey. Skiffy is saying I got lucky with Megan's PC, got the RAM and memory just before it's... Yes, yes. It's also the case with consoles and things like that, isn't it? I do like that little invisible block there because it's sort of... in an unspoken way, the designers kind of convey to you, look, I'm going to be messing with you. I'm not even going to let you jump over this pipe, all right? And this is the first level of the game. And then from there, you just immediately learn to mistrust the game. Because I wouldn't necessarily call Super Mario Brothers a hand-holdy game by any stretch of the imagination, but I think level 1-1 on Super Mario Brothers is used for... it's kind of used as sort of like the benchmark of this is how you teach a player without words how to do stuff. Like, here's a jump with a bottomless pit, here's a staircase with a bottomless pit in it. Things like that. Here's a pipe you can go down, here's one you can't, this kind of thing. Whereas this, obviously about 40 years have passed between then and now, so this just assumes you know what you're doing. I of course don't. And just kind of chucks everything at you. Skiffy's recommending an Intel Arc GPU. I don't know much about... I've never been good about knowing the names of components and that kind of thing. But I'm always torn between whether Intel or AMD or whoever else are the best options, and it seems to fluctuate from what I can see. It's not just necessarily who you speak to. There doesn't seem to be necessarily as much brand loyalty because people who build and upgrade PCs and that kind of thing seem, in my view, as having grown up as... Oh god. Have you ever done that thing where you jump and you regret the jump and you try and go back? That's what I was trying to do and it didn't work. But people who build PCs are a lot more agnostic towards who, in my experience, who provides the components and that kind of thing. Whereas I grew up as a console kid in the 90s, which was very tribalistic. So if you liked Nintendo, you expected not to like PlayStation, and vice versa. If you like Sega, you were expected to hate Nintendo, that kind of thing. That's all calmed down in recent years, but in the PC world, from what I find is if Intel are doing something better, everyone will favour them for a while, and then if AMD are doing something better, everyone will favour them for a while, and it is just all about letting the performance speak for itself. There doesn't really seem to be any sort of tribalism as much, or if there is, kind of the boundaries around it seem to shift much more on actual realistic things rather than, oh, I like a console, so I'm not allowed to like the other console, which is how things were when I was a wee lad. I could really do with a flower. Oh, heavens. Oh! Hey, that was lucky, but that would have been a flower. Dan is saying it's more common to get Thunderbolt on Intel machine, and I have a bunch of Thunderbolt stuff. Again, I'm so out of the loop PC-wise. I probably have to come to, you know, some of the friends I made through the channel and through Dre's channel, etc. Probably have to come to you guys for advice because I am absolutely clueless. Lola knows more than me, for example, and you know, as well she should, how to build, upgrade, do computer. She knows a lot more Windows command line. I know a little bit of Linux command line. Linux, I never know how to say it. I think it's like scone and scone. It seems to vary on who you ask. Although I think I see Linux a lot more. Either which way. Linux command line I'm okay with. But Lola knows how to do all sorts of stuff in Windows PowerShell command line that I've looked over it sometimes and I'm like, oh my god, you're like gutting your computer. If I go to like add or remove programs and try and get rid of stuff, it doesn't really show me everything that's going on, but she knows ways and means by which it's like, no, here's actually what the computer's doing, which is what the command line is for. I do find the command line very visually pleasing, which seems really weird to say, but just something about the scrolling text on the black background. It's why I've not really bothered a lot with sort of stream graphics and overlays anyway. I don't really want to be kind of one of those bombarding sort of channels to begin with, apart from constantly talking at you, of course. But Dan is saying my next build is going to have to be a server grade processor because consumer grade don't have enough PCIe lanes. Is that because of the AI thing, or is it simply because the consumer market is sort of, I don't know how best to phrase it, sort of being downgraded by design as everyone sort of hammers towards this more industrial data center sort of. It seems to be where computing is going overall, doesn't it? Because Nvidia, relatively famously, are kind of getting up on stage and being like, oh, we're just an AI company, we're not a gaming company now. And it's like, that's fine, but you've got a lot of stuff kind of grandfathered in and some people have some expectations of you and it's kind of, whoops, okay. Alright. The coin noise tickles my brain to this day. It's just, oh, taking a bit of a less is more approach here. Yeah, I like it when you do them high. Oh, I don't care, you're dead. God, how humiliating. It's taken me most of my time with this game today. Oh, I like the green text for this. There's one more castle left. Ha ha ha. So it's actually very hard, is my excuse, because it's much shorter. There's 2 worlds in the ROMhack. I don't think we're going to get through them both today, unless I make this world noir late, which I'm a little disinclined to do. But we'll see. Maybe I'll give this a full playthrough on the more... Oops! Whoa! That was lucky. On the more YouTube side of things. This is what we want. This is what we want. Either that, or I get insanely lucky, blitz through this world, and we clear this entire ROMhack just in time to go back to Luton, the miserable detective. Oh, I didn't give it enough oomph. This is me and my hubris again. Average consumer level PCs don't need as many extra bits as I tend to. PCIe, capture card, Dante networked audio card, couple of GPU for spreading vid encoding workloads, etc. Ah, I see. So it is the nature of the business. So yeah, I can see what you mean. This is Dan once again kind of diving into the tech stuff. Because as I understand it, Dan does a lot of video editing, or kind of has expertise in that area, and with sound design and this, that, and the other. So I guess, yeah, an off-the-shelf or even a more sort of bespoke that you'd think would be okay for PC gaming and that kind of thing, probably just would not cut it whatsoever. Oof. It is about, I guess the lines, because everyone, I mean, I'm kind of experiencing it myself, because the lines between, oh god, hobbyist and sort of actual media production, such as mine is way more blurred now. It's like, yeah, where do you actually draw that line? Because the distinction between the consumer and the hobbyist and the this and that. And then Dan is adding, everything's so damn expensive at the moment, it'll be good while before I make the jump. Yeah, I've had to slow down a lot of my plans because from my sort of hobbyist perspective, Lola and I have been trying to sort of shut out a lot of the discourse around hobbyist emulation handhelds like the AYN Thor, which is sort of a DS but not, that's come out from China. It's turning a lot of heads, it's sort of making a lot of mainstream attention. It's essentially a DS-shaped emulation handheld that runs Android and runs most things up to and including kind of contemporary Switch 1 hardware, which Nintendo's very angry about and people are very careful to talk about, but it can be done, and it can sort of emulate PC games and that kind of thing. But yeah, they've recently had to spike the prices, even though in the grand scheme of things they're not throwing around a lot of RAM or technology. Just the idea that they're using RAM or a graphics card at all. They had to bump their prices up. All the console prices have gone up, of course. Nintendo are finding it harder and harder with the Switch 2 to defend its price line, because they made a reputation over the last 10 years of being a budget-friendly option, and all of a sudden they flipped the script without really much forewarning and become sort of a premium brand. They were always sort of a premium brand who like to sort of milk their fans, and I say that as one of them. But the mask has sort of come off now, so to speak, and it's way, way harder. So that's another thing that's kind of pushed me, not as forcibly as I'm making it sound, into sort of the retro side, into the older stuff. And also you just become aware when you do look back, we've all missed out on a huge ton of stuff, whether it's the stuff that Drea covers or the weirdness that I kind of stumble on as I'm doing this. I think it's the stuff that's actually finally getting successfully archived, like This World Noir, which wouldn't run on anyone's computer. For the longest time, people have finally made it work, because we've got a lot of advantages we can do with emulating old PCs in their architecture. And then you've got things like the Analog 3D and that's another one of those trick boxes, look at that. Analog 3D and the Mod Retro M64, I think it's called. Those ones have my interest, because I grew up, I think the first console that really kind of spoke to me as a kid, I had other consoles, but the one where I was like, oh, I really like games, I want to do this, was the N64. So the Analog 3D and the Mod Retro M64 are recreations of N64 hardware that use, what's it called, FPCGA, I think, or something like that. It's basically a chip that emulates the original hardware so precisely that it's almost indistinguishable. Oh, Dan is tabulating in the chat that it could all be a calculated move to get us all towards renting cloud CPUs from Daddy Bezos. Not. I mean, I've had to look at cloud computing for sure. I've used GeForce Now, tinkered with that, because obviously having the hardware I do, if I want to play something relatively modern, I tinker with GeForce Now. I don't think I'd be able to stream it, because the video stutters between what I'm streaming to myself and what I'm able to actually cast from what I've experimented with. I did try recording a GeForce Now video to see how it would work, and it just stuttered. I think there's probably something technical I can do to smooth that out, but it was not happy. And the other one is there's a French company called Shadow PC, and this is all contingent on you having good internet, which I've only just got in the last year or so. They will stream you an entire Windows PC, and you can do relatively whatever you want with it. I've looked, I can't use it for cybersecurity because I have to do relatively not questionable, but stuff that leads to conversations when you're in cybersecurity. You have to poke at things that people would rather you didn't. So I can't use a Shadow PC for that, and that's fair enough. But for gaming and stuff like that, you can just, I think I paid 40 quid one time last time I did it, just for a month of like the biggest no really super PC you've got. And I kind of discovered doing that, I'm not massively into high-end PC gaming. I was just like, oh, okay, this seems like a lot of rigmarole to get this on the go. And now I've done it, it's just kind of like, okay, things are quite shiny. Dan saying it comes full circle, we're back to using thin clients again. Yeah, there is a cyclic nature to technology, isn't there? And I think that it's not the first time in consumer tech or hobbyist tech that people have been priced out of doing what they love. The idea of having affordable technology to begin with. Why did I do that? I saw it and I was committed, and I just watched Mario 4. It was awful. Yeah, having the access to consumer technology. I mean, when I was growing up, obviously inflation means that the money doesn't necessarily mean what it used to. But, I mean, when the PlayStation 3 came out, that was insanely expensive. When the N64 came out, I remember that being 350 90s quid, which I'm not sure how that translates, but it's only really more recently you had the expectation, if you're buying Nintendo, for example, you're spending 200 or less, and if you're buying, you know, the bigger boys, Sony or Xbox, you're paying 500. That's all kind of gone out the window. Nintendo offering their games for cheaper, but you know they hold the value, is kind of going out the window a little bit. And yeah, on the PC side, it's all gone completely nuts, and I can kind of hardly keep up. I couldn't really keep up with the arms race of chips to begin with, and I never really knew what I was buying, apart from the fact that by the time I finished the sentence, it was probably getting... Oh, I saw that. That was awful. By the time I finished the sentence with the salesman, whatever I was discussing was probably already redundant. Oh, there we go. I think we're breaking new ground now. And then there's Max, of course, which I know next to nothing about as well. Can set feet down and saying, let the AAAs die off. Much more interesting shit's coming out of the indie scene these days. And I completely agree. It's completely true, yes. It is where all the ideas are coming from. And every... I don't put much truck in the Game Awards. The Game Awards are basically the end of year thing you go where you want to see a trailer of what a game that... What the hell is this thing? Oh, it's a bullet bill. I didn't recognise that. Because of the colour palette. Yeah, the Game Awards are what you watch at the end of the year to see trailers, not because you actually want to see who won any awards, because they're kind of an afterthought. But for the last few years, you've had Larian or Expedition 33, I can't remember their... Sandfall, I think, developed that. Basically, some studio who's, like, taken a punt, made a game with as much passion as they can possibly pour into it, and then everyone does the shocked Pikachu face of like, oh my god, this won all these awards. It's like, yes, it was a game. It sold the way games used to be sold, which is, I've tried to make the absolute best thing I possibly could. Would you like to give me money for it or not? That's basically what gaming competition used to be, not like, here's the thing, how can I monetize you after you've bought it? Which is how a lot of AAAs work now. Yeah, and everyone just is always like, oh, it's unfair to hold us all to this standard to expect that we're all going to make games like that. It's like, well, don't then. It doesn't matter if they're rare and like once in a generation thing. We don't have to have games this huge every year, and by the look of things, we couldn't afford them if you did make them. We need to sort of, we've all got massive backlogs and we all need to sit with them for a bit. I've been sort of cornered into doing it, and yeah, it turns out half the stuff, if not most of the stuff I've actually bought over the years, is fun. That's why I bought it in the first place. But then you just sort of, you sift through your console menu and you sift through all the things you've got and you're like, yeah, maybe this one, maybe this one. Sort of that Netflix menu effect. And then, before you know it, half the night's gone and you're just back to the same thing that you're always playing. Sorry, I'm not trying to make the streamer downer, it's just certainly how I can see media. It's like, oh, I think I'll just probably keep picking up... Oh, you fishy bastard, look at this. Just pick up Persona 5 again. But yeah, getting into the retro has definitely reinvigorated. Streaming has reinvigorated my interest in gaming a bit as well, definitely. Because the medium itself is so new. When you get into your 30s, you start wondering, like, am I gonna grow out of it? I was always told I would. I might be now. It might be happening now. I don't know if it's because the industry doesn't interest me, or if it's because my games don't, or if it's because gaming doesn't interest me. But it turns out if you just sort of alter how you do it, so, oh god in heaven. For me at least, it worked. If I'm streaming or thinking about what to stream, this kind of thing, I find it a little more interesting because it changes how I think about games. And likewise, looking at stuff that came out that completely passed me by as a kid, whether it's the consoles that I never had or just the games that never... Just having... I've always been behind the power curve PC-wise as well, so just being able to run old PC games, which is getting easier, as much as it is a bit of a kerfuffle. I think running any PC game is a kerfuffle, and it does turn me off the whole thing, so getting old ones to work, I'm sort of finding easier than getting anything else to work that's meant to work on what I actually have. Right, these fish are vexatious. I've always been saying that. Oh, I can't hit this. Yeah, I thought there was something good in there, but I could not strike it. Yeah, this is what I need to watch out for. They get under your feet and disrupt your jump. Oh, look at this. I like that. Oh, what a stupid jump, though. Ah, I was hoping to do a cool fireball mid-air. Look at this. Goodness me. Sorry, the level design keeps distracting me halfway through my sentences. Because it is very clever. I do rate the ROMhack very much. Right, here we go, here we go, here we go. Deep breath. No, Mario. No, you were supposed to run. I didn't give him enough of a run-up. We're reaching time now. We're sort of at the shit or bust. Oh, I like this thing. We're at the shit or bust part of it. I'm either going to finish this ROMhack or we're going to lose its inflection point because we're getting towards this World Noir time now. Got to help Luton out with his nonsense. I forgot how much in that game absolutely everyone lies to you. there's so much dishonest, because I know it. Sometimes you might hear me while we're playing it, just sort of humming under my breath, like, because I know what I'm being told is dishonest, but I can't do anything about it until I have the evidence. Okay, big castle. This is it now. This is the crux of it. We might clear the ROM hack. That'd be quite cool if you can fit it in half an hour. I think that's a really cool bite-sized way to have a really tricky Super Mario Brothers, more so than Super Mario Brothers already is. This layout, does this mean it's going to be one of those get the pattern right or repeat forever? Ooh. Because that happens in the final... Oh! There we go. Up. Okay. That made a ping, right? Or was it because I picked up the coin? I might be in my head about this. I'm thinking it might be... No, I think actually... Oh, do I get the question mark block or do I just go as I am? I don't really have the luxury of time to really deliberate. I think I need to... Oh, I don't like this. I'm in my head. Look how many fireballs you're doing. Just calm down on the current. Oh, I got in my head. Okay. No, we don't make it. We're not going to make it. Oh, I love it. I love the tragedy of that. Eden GT did the music. Well done. Well done, Eden GT, for the music. Well done, Green Cherry, for the hack. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I might give this another run through right now, but promise is a promise, and I need to move to Discworld Noir. We're going to switch over. Thank you for sticking with and for bearing with whatever the hell that gameplay was. Now a Kilo, thank you for joining us. Yes, this was a this was a ROM hack, which basically converts the game into a desert and makes everything really, really hard. I've just unilaterally failed at it, and we're about to switch to Discworld Noir, but yeah, Skiffy already used your shame emote accordingly. We're going to be switching over now. I'll be back in a tick.